Anyway, what I was going to say to you was that I was talking to one of the guys today.
Wait, you're not allowed to use that word. The N-word.
I didn't use the N-word.
I just can't believe you'd wait until we record to stop using it, though.
Oh, yeah, I know.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know why I did that.
Yeah, well, you should have done that, but you had to wait until, like... No, you can't. You had to be the first person to start talking, given the podcast. Yeah, I randomly was talking to...
Do you want that to face you more?
No, it's fine. Okay. I was randomly talking to Aiden this morning that listens to the podcast.
Aiden O'Malley.
And he pointed out to me that I had said previously that for some reason on the podcast I'm more than happy to like say anything and like talk about most things, but face to face, like I would never have that conversation with the majority of people.
Yes.
And just pointing out how weird that is. Do you feel like you're exactly the same? Like, do you feel like you can voice an opinion because right now it's just you and me, and then, or open up about something because it's just you and me?
Yeah.
Because it kind of drifts to the back of your mind that that's then going to get heard by a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, like I'm acutely aware that we're on a podcast and potentially 3 people can hear what we're talking about. But I'm also, like, when we talk, I do feel like it's just you and me. And I don't, like, sometimes, it's right in the back of your mind that other people... It's kind of like, you know... It's kind of like batting off when your parents are home. Like, you know that...
You're acutely aware that they're there.
They're there, and they could bust into your room at any moment. Yeah. But you're willing to take that risk.
Surely not living at home anymore, you save that for your own house.
Yes, 100%.
Okay, cool. So you're just bringing back an example from years ago.
From when I was a child.
Okay.
Yeah. When I was like, 26.
So not long ago at all. Do you want an intro now before we get started?
Yeah. Hey guys, welcome to the Uneducated Opinions podcast, a podcast about beer that never has beer in it, except for today. I'm sure you're going to talk about this Stephen beer.
I'm going to bring it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Usually when you go out, have a few beers, start chatting, you talk about anything and everything, but really you know nothing about what you're talking about, and that's how most pub conversations go, and that's how this podcast goes. So I'm Andy, this is Steve, and welcome to episode 15? 16. And guys, Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year. Good point.
It's 2020.
It is.
It's weird to be in the past but in the future at the same time.
It's weird to be talking about, hey, how was your New Year's, despite the fact that it's the 24th.
What are you doing for your New Year's?
I'm going to be out west on the farm.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I'm heading out to my cousin's place on the 27th. I think we'll drive out, and then we have his girlfriend's birthday party on the 28th. And then, I'll stay out there until the 2nd when I'll drive back. So I'll do New Year's and New Year's Eve and New Year's Day out there, which will be a good time.
How far in advance do you plan your New Year's?
How far in advance? Generally, I don't have New Year's plans until the day of.
Really?
Most often.
That's cutting it close. Because
this time I had to, because I have to obviously get work off and that sort of thing. And it was just, he's been back and forth between the mines for ages now. So.
Oh wait, did you go pick him up?
No, he lands tonight.
Oh, okay.
But I don't have to pick him up anymore.
Oh,
my auntie's picking him up because she's going to be in the city anyway. So she's just going to duck over to the airport when he lands and bring him back, which is kind of good because otherwise me and him wouldn't have even gotten back to my place by 11.
Yeah.
And then knowing me and him, we would have had to sit up and have 5 or 6 beers each, so it would have been 2 a.m. by the time we went to bed.
Yes.
So it probably works out better anyway.
I hate that, sorry, I'm just making sure that I click record.
That's okay.
I hate that New Year's plans have to be made so far in advance. Like, it's really annoying to me. And I hate when New Year's plans fall through.
And then you're stuck doing nothing?
It's impossible to find another thing to do.
Is it?
Oh, well, like, if you're lazy, it's hard.
Yeah, okay.
But I mean, if you're lazy.
What are you doing for New Year's?
Well, my plans fell through. So I'm actually going to go out to a party with my sisters.
Oh, cool. Sweet.
Which would be cool, because my sister...
Is it a young party?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Probably not.
Which sister is it?
Sonali.
Okay, so it'll be a bunch of 20-year-olds, probably.
Yeah, I mean, she's older than you.
Oh, sorry, she's between you and me. Hey,
Yeah.
Sonali.
That's really fancy. Tell me more.
Okay, so the beer that we're going to try today is, Andy's going to pronounce it for us.
Yep. I'm pretty sure it's called Wine Steven.
I think it's pronounced Vine Stefan. Yeah.
Wine Steven.
Wine Steven.
I understand why you bought it.
Yes, yeah, because it's got my name in it. So this is just a gift that I got for Christmas from a PT client. So thank you, Steve and Suzanne, actually.
Oh, I know Steve and Suzanne.
You do know
Steve with
Suzanne.
the gorilla arms.
Yes.
That guy has massive
He
arms.
does have huge arms. So they bought me a little 3-pack of German beer comes with a glass as well, with a nice German glass.
What size is that?
This is a pint, I believe, isn't it? 500 ml is a pint?
Is it?
Yeah, 500 ml is a pint and a litre is a stein.
Okay. So that's a pint?
A pint, yeah.
Because it looks bigger than a pint.
No, I believe it's a pint. Okay, so we have 3 different options, I believe. So you need to decide which one you would like, and I will have one of the others. So we have a crystal clear.
A crystal waste beer. So this is a wheat beer.
Yep, they're all wheat beer.
They're all wheat beers.
I believe so. Oh no, this one is not.
What's
so
that
I
one?
will have this one.
The Pilsner. Do you like Pilsner? I think I like this one.
Yep.
The Bavarian style. That
Okay.
seems up my alley.
So Andy's gonna have the Bavarian style.
What's wrong?
I didn't bring my bottle over.
Oh, guys.
Andy's gonna show
Time
off for
for a
us.
lesson. I hope that shows up in the video. That one wasn't as cool.
Perfect.
But
And Andy, I went and grabbed your glass as well, so that we can your special glass, so that
Thank
we
you.
can have it together. I didn't want you to feel left out when I was drinking mine out of a nice glass. Unfortunately, though, yours is not clear, so people will not be able to see your shocking pour, but they will be able to see mine when they look at the YouTube.
and you think that you're a good pourer?
No, I don't. Mine's shocking.
Oh, okay.
I'm a shocking pour.
I'm gonna.
Also, how many standards is this? 2 standard drinks. So we will only be having one.
What, were you gonna have 2 of these?
No. But I'm just thinking because I've got to go to the pub after this.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I actually think I poured this quite well, mainly because you can't see it. And okay, now you can see the froth at the top, but that's like a decent amount. How much head is too much head?
Every night it'd probably get old.
That's not bad, Paul.
Yeah, look, I'm pretty happy with that. It took me a while though. Don't you dare.
Oh, sorry. But it looks
Oh.
so tasty.
Andy just went to have a sip of the beer that I provided from my Christmas present.
I know, I'm so bad.
Cheers.
I definitely didn't pour this well.
So even though this is coming out a little bit late, I feel like we should say Merry Christmas because to us this is
This is Christmas Eve.
Christmas
for us.
Eve for us.
I don't know where the beer begins and the froth ends.
Also, that's sitting in the fan is blowing froth.
Can I just sip the froth before I
No.
cheers?
Cheers.
Okay. Cheers. The froth tastes good so far.
It's good. I like that one. You're right. I'm actually generally not a huge Pilsner person, but I struggle with a lot of wheat beers.
Yeah.
Um,
Can I taste yours?
yeah. I'm going to taste yours as well.
Yeah, I like mine better.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I like mine better.
Ooh. That's good. Anyway, describe your beer to the viewers at home. We haven't done a beer describing in Yonkers. Should we leave the beers up so people know what we're
Yes.
drinking?
Mine tastes a lot like a Pilsner.
Oh, and if you're listening to this, we have a YouTube video, so that's where you can see all of this happening.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry, we'll describe the beers first.
No, did you hurt your arm?
Yeah.
How?
I think it must have been, you know how I was telling you my shoulder was giving me some curry recently?
Yeah.
I think maybe I've ignored it, the briefness of it, and I think maybe it was a small, not very serious tendinopathy that I was ignoring.
Yeah.
And now I think it's a worse one that I definitely need to go and get a scan on.
Oh, really?
I couldn't really sleep on it last night, and like moving through this plane and going to pick up the glass.
So it's your shoulder that's irritating you?
Yeah, and when I went to pick up the glass just
Yeah.
then, felt like a worse pinch in the back of my shoulder.
Ah.
So I'm thinking.
But this is from the Open, right?
Since the Open.
Since the Open.
Yeah.
I reckon, like, I can see that your shoulder's sitting anterior, like that shoulder.
This shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, just release your lats and pecs more, better.
Yeah.
You know
At
what?
all?
You know what?
At all would
Oh,
probably
you
help.
haven't done it.
No.
You know what has been a huge thing that I've been like
Stressing?
Not stressing. I've just been disappointed with people.
Yes.
People like to train hard, but they don't like to release hard. You know, when people roll out on a ball, I'm like, okay, we're gonna spend some time, you know, releasing your pecs and lats, or TFL, whatever, like, and they'll go sit on a ball for 5 minutes, be like, look, I'm done, thanks, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
You sat on a ball for 5 minutes, and you literally had a conversation.
Yeah.
If we're releasing with some sort of intention, you're not gonna be able to talk.
We're talking about like releasing fascia and muscle, guys, just for those who are wondering.
Yes, sorry, yeah.
So you pointed out to me the other day that we have a habit as soon as we get into a training conversation of just assuming that the other person knows what we're talking about because we're very much on the same wavelength with the training conversation.
With most conversations, I feel like, except for like
I know
gender pay gaps
oh.
and race.
Yeah, that's probably fair. I have no issue with race at all, but Annie has an issue with white people.
I have no issue with white people. I have an issue with how you perceive the other races around you.
Yes, how do you think I perceive them?
As inferior.
As inferior? Yeah.
You know what? It's the new year.
You know, we are drinking a German beer too, who typically, you know.
It's not as bad as the last German beer we drank. What did it say on there?
Oh,
German purity law.
Purity law. What was that one? Was that one?
It was similar to this, but it was the Polana,
Okay.
I think. I forget.
Okay. Was it a wheat beer?
It was.
Yeah.
I really like this.
Yeah, I'm enjoying my one as well.
Yeah, anyway, and my grief with it is that they need to, you know, do it a little bit better.
Yes, definitely. I think my shoulder issue has come on from, I think more the issue was after I went to the States.
Yeah.
Because from when I went away, I like any sort of mobility stopped for the period of time that I was away, and I didn't pick it up when I got back. So since I've been back from the States, I've probably been on a foam roller or a ball or stretched maybe twice. Maybe.
Yeah.
Since I've been back. Whereas I was rolling lats, adductors, and stretching pecs probably for at least 4 times a week before I left. And I would roll lat and adductors before every single session before I started. And now I don't reckon I've rolled my adductors since I got back, which is stupid because of the amount of box squatting that I'm doing at the moment. So like I'm going to hurt myself if I'm not careful. But so yeah, I really need to pick back up on that sort of thing, and hopefully that'll make this go away.
And the cool thing is it doesn't need to be long. People try to spend I've seen people warm up for like hours, but all you got to do is if you take a short amount of time and do it well, it doesn't take that much. Or you start, doing your warm up sets and just do it in between your warm up sets.
Yeah,
it'd be fine. Anyway, tell me about your beer. I'm sorry, I had to get that off my chest.
I'm finding it fairly heavy. I'm finding it fairly heavy for such a lighter beer. Like it's a heavy mouthfeel.
Yeah. Like a Guinness?
No. We're not talking like a stout sort of feel.
Yeah.
But you know how? Oh, I guess you don't know. But with coffee, like some coffees feel really light on the tongue. Like if you drink an espresso.
No, I don't know.
So some coffees taste really light on the tongue when you drink an espresso, and then same as like a beer, like this one. Like some beers taste really, really light. This one is a little bit heavier on the mouth. There's a little bit of like a hoppy taste, but not a lot.
I'll tell you about mine.
You tell me.
Mine tastes like bread.
Does it?
Yeah.
You can tell how much I know about beer by the way that I'm trying to describe it. I know that I enjoy beer, and I enjoy this beer. That's about the extent. Would you be worried about having 2 standard drinks, or for you, what is actually
More than that? Or less than that?
Not 2 standard drinks.
What is it?
2.1. 2.1 standard drinks before you now drive home during double demerits.
Well, I'm not going to drive home.
You're going to go back?
I'm going to crash here for a bit, do some computer work,
okay.
and then I'll go.
Okay, right.
I'll play it safe. I'm not going to be an idiot. Are you worried?
No, not really.
I mean, you should be, and you should never choose to drink drive.
Never.
No, I'm being serious.
Yeah, I know.
You probably shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Or tell anyone to do that. This is awkward. But for reals, I'm going to train and...
Oh, yeah? Okay. So you're going to train after having 2 standard drinks?
Yeah, I know. It's going to be a confusing time for both my body, my liver, and my soul.
So last episode, we sort of left off. We were supposed to be talking about Christmas and that sort of thing. And I wanted to ask you now, and I think you've actually done something that's made me now need to ask this question, is who do you have to buy Christmas presents for?
Yeah.
And how is a budget decided upon on how? So the most obvious example is you're buying a Christmas present for your partner or your girlfriend or your boyfriend's parents, okay? How do you decide how much you have to spend?
I love it. Your partner, your girlfriend, or your boyfriend. Sorry, I'm not the one girl that listens to this podcast, probably. Actually, no, I think
I wasn't
Caitlin
talking about the one girl.
Oh,
I was talking about maybe you.
And my boyfriend?
And your boyfriend.
Fair enough.
I didn't want to offend you.
Lucky Kush doesn't listen to this.
Yeah.
Otherwise, she'd know.
She'd
leave me.
Yeah. I have another question, but we'll save that for after. So, say you're buying for you don't have to give me a number, but how do you know how much you need to spend? Is it a thoughtfulness thing that dictates how much you need to spend, or is there an amount of money that I really need to spend at least $150 on my partner's parents?
All right, so first off, Kush and I do not buy presents for each other.
You don't? No.
We like to use our time together as the biggest present.
Okay. I'm not going to comment.
No, we don't buy. I don't buy presents for her because she's the worst person in the world to buy a present for.
Yep.
She will never be satisfied with what you get her, and she is terrible, and that is the reason I don't buy presents for her.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't buy presents for me because
for the
she's
same reason.
Terrible.
Fair enough.
For your other point, like
in-laws.
In-laws? Depends how close you are to them, I guess. Depends how much you need to win them over. Depends how much you
don't want to win them over.
Don't want to win them over. So in my case, I just spend equal amount. Like I've been with Kush for like 10 years. So, and their own daughter isn't here. So like that's kind of rough on them too.
Yeah.
And like I feel bad that I don't spend enough time with them. Like I barely spend enough time with my parents.
Do you feel like you're
obliged to spend time with them?
No. But do you feel like you're their son now? Like, do they treat you that way?
Yes, they definitely do.
Okay, that's good.
And I'm like, guys, like, I also don't go see my parents. Sorry.
Yeah.
But they're like, I really like them.
Yeah.
And that's why they come train here. I don't think they actually like training and stuff. I think they mainly come to see me. Yeah. And when Kush was here.
Yeah.
To see Kush. But then they came the other day when you were coaching. How was that?
It was good. They're lovely. They're really,
very
really
funny.
Nice.
Like, Kush's mum's like a crazy person, right? Like funny.
Yes. Yeah,
she doesn't think
funny.
before she speaks.
No. She's very funny. I find it hilarious that Gam still plays cricket.
Yes, and he's always injured.
Yeah.
He tore his hamstring the other day.
Did he?
Yeah.
How? Batting?
Running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Between wickets?
Must be. Yeah, you guys would get along because you both like terrible sports.
I think you made that joke already.
On another podcast?
No, you made that joke when they came in.
Ah.
Yeah. Okay, so another question. At what point are you obliged to buy someone a present? Because you really caught me off guard today because you and I have been friends for a while, and apart from one birthday present that I bought you, but that's because I walked past it in the store and went, Andy's going to love that. And
Still
it'll be
the
funny.
Greatest present I've ever received from anyone.
But other than that,
Kush has never bought me a present better than that.
But other than that, there's never been an expectation amongst friends to buy each other a birthday or a Christmas present. The most you do is, if you're coming over for a birthday barbecue, you'd take beers.
Yeah.
Like you take beers so that they can have a beer and you can have a beer, right?
Yeah.
So where's the obligation on presents? And now that you've bought me a present...
You are not obliged.
But now I feel obliged.
But I've told you you're not obliged. Like, I bought the present strictly as... like, it's Merry Christmas, obviously. But as a thank you for one, agreeing to do this, which is, like, one of the highlights of my week. It's really fun to do this.
I do enjoy this.
You've helped me out of a bunch of jams with Raw Barbell Club podcast as well. And then the biggest one is, like, I know how hard it was for you to, like, move shit around to come and work here at the gym. And I really appreciate it. And you're doing a really good job. Like, a really good job. Like, people,
I appreciate that.
People like you, and so the beers are just like a token of thanks. It's kind of like a bonus, but I didn't have enough money to give you a bonus, so I just bought you a couple of beers.
Is that tax deduction?
Yes.
So you know how you said to me on that charity podcast that it's not a good, you're not a good person if you tax
Claim it back on tax.
Claim it back on tax.
I'm not a good person. I'm not. I didn't get it to you to be nice. I get it to you because I feel I owe it.
That's like a lot of presents, though, right?
Yes.
There's a lot of people that you give a present to that you don't necessarily feel.
What are the different types of presents? A birthday present, an I'm sorry present. I'm really, really sorry present.
Yeah.
Please love me more present.
Do you and Kush do presents at all? Birthdays?
Not really anymore.
Is it like it's her birthday, so you'll organise something nice to do for the day?
No.
No?
Just like, maybe like a chocolate bar or something.
Okay, yeah.
But like, not really. I mean, if she needs something, like, I'll get it for her.
Yeah.
Like, she needed weightlifting shoes for ages, and eventually I just bought them for her. But they weren't like...
A gift.
It wasn't like, hey, you have to wait until your birthday to use these. It's like, here, you need shoes. Or like I bought her earphones like a few months ago so that we can talk to each other because her phone is crappy.
Yeah, okay. So do you think that... So you bought them and had them sent over there, or did you took them?
No, I just bought them on Amazon and got them shipped to her house.
That's cool. She would have liked that too, surely.
No.
She's a terrible person?
She's a terrible person. Do you know what she said to me?
No, what?
I was like, hey, like, I'm getting this package sent to you, like, they're earphones. And she's like, oh, cool. And, like, then she's like, are they earpods? And I'm like, no, I can't afford earpods. And then she's like, oh.
Kush! Does Kush listen to these?
No.
No, okay. Kush,
maybe sometimes.
Kush, you're a terrible person.
She is, right?
Horrible. Absolutely terrible.
So now I'm like, every time we talk about them, and she bags me out for them too, because you've seen my earphones, the ones with the like loops. She's like, oh, you wear such nerd earphones, and you bought me nerd earphones. I'm like, do you want me to buy you earpods? Because now I feel guilt tripped enough to buy them.
Yeah. So I got a question for you. As most people most common listeners are probably beginning to realise, you're someone who holds a lot of opinions that are, and well thought out opinions, I'll give you that. If I ask you a topic
and grudges.
Yes. If I ask you a question about a serious topic, you've generally got a fairly well thought out opinion about it. But a lot of the time your opinions are not something that other people necessarily disagree with, or would be like, oh, you're a dick, like my gender pay gap opinions. Yeah. But maybe away from the status quo opinions. Would you agree with that?
I don't know. Like, give me an example.
Like, people should work less. opinion. Things like that. Your opinions, like when we talked about like the religion view, like on the religion podcast that we did. Some opinions that, whilst I don't think anyone thinks you're a bad person for having those opinions, they're probably just different to what a lot of people hold as an opinion.
Like they might disagree without hating me.
Whereas yes.
With you, they disagree and hate you.
Yeah, exactly. But do you think that, so that's what brings me to the question is, with gifts and that sort of thing, do you have an opinion away from the status quo that maybe gifts are, I'm trying to think of the word, not important, or poor symbols of care or whatever? Like, is there a reason why you think of gifts between you and Kush as being something that you don't really do? Is there a belief that you hold attached to that, or is that just a habit that's formed over the course of your 10-year relationship?
Okay. So I actually do have a well thought out.
I thought you would. That's why I asked the question.
So my mom is a serial gift giver.
Okay.
And my grandma is the same way.
Yep.
Like they, so you know, like how there's different love languages?
Yep.
Some people.
Did mine the other day. I'll tell you about it off the podcast. Anyway, go.
So gift giving is like a
giving and receiving gifts is one of the languages.
Is one of the languages. And both grandma and mom are like, they love giving gifts. So like the worst thing you can do to someone like that is to receive a present from them and be like,
yeah, okay.
Which is what Kush is like. She's not a bad person. She's a terrible person.
No, Kush is not a bad person.
She's not a bad person. It's just not her love language. Receiving gifts, giving gifts is not her thing.
Yeah.
Her love language is like, actually, does she love me?
Kush doesn't have one. There's 7 to choose from, and she doesn't have one.
No, she's thoughtful in a lot of other ways. Like she'll take care of you. She's very giving with her time.
Yeah.
And that's how she like shows affection and that sort of stuff.
Have you read that book?
Not fully.
No, you've skimmed it though?
Skimmed it, yeah.
Did you find it interesting?
I did.
Yeah.
I did,
okay.
and I will go back to. It's because I started using Audible.
Yeah, I need to get onto that because I don't. I say I don't have the time, but I feel like it's such a important part of being not only a successful person but a just well-educated person.
Like learning more.
Just learning more, and like even if it's not reading non-fiction books, but actually just reading is such an important skill that I think can better you in so many ways outside of necessarily learning more, but just your capacity for certain things, whether it be an increase of vocabulary in an education sense, or just the fact that you take that time out of your day to sit down and read improves like discipline and that sort of thing as well.
I 100% agree.
So I wish I read more because I think
you're not disciplined enough.
Yeah, and I think the listening to it on Audible, for me is I'm like, is that defeating the purpose sort of thing?
Yes. Yeah. I still think Audible is good. Especially because like you can't read while you're driving, just like you can't drink while you're driving.
Yes.
But you can
listen.
Drink while you listen to Audible. And you can drink while you read.
Yes, you could.
What a paradox we live in.
You could listen to Audible while you drive though. So
that's what I was actually...
That was the point you were getting at, yeah. Anyway, go back to your love languages.
Yeah, so that's how she is. And she's obviously just our time together, she's conditioned me to not purchase and give her gifts or surprises, things that she definitely doesn't like, even though that's something that's ingrained in me. Now, I actually, and you know, when you're with someone, they change you, especially if you grew up together, which our formative years were spent together, like Kush and I.
What are the formative years?
Like, I mean, you know, from 18 till like
now,
basically early, like late 20s.
Yeah.
So because of that, my ideas of like gifts have diluted Like, I don't think they're important, as important. I still love giving a thoughtful gift.
Yeah.
Nothing is better to me than if I saw something randomly and I was like, fuck, that suits this person who I do care about so much, and like there's a pull to it, like, oh, I should get that and give it to them. What I hate is the idea that you have to wait for these certain times of year.
This is the opinion I figured you would hold.
Give presents. So I hate Christmas because it's just...
You hate Christmas, or you hate the gift side?
I hate
of Christmas?
the gift side of Christmas.
Okay, yeah. Fuck the Grinch.
I hate like birthdays. I just hate even going to a party and having like the social expectation that you have to give something.
Yeah.
Whereas like, for example, if I saw I'm a douche shirt, I would instantly purchase it for you as a gift.
So did you get me beer because you were like,
because I couldn't
Steve's
find the
an alcoholic?
They were out of extra large shirts.
I see. Yeah. I have big biceps.
But yeah, like, so that's my opinion. My thought process behind that is that I do like buying gifts. I'd rather just buy ones that matter when they matter. Not so much. Like, I'm happy to buy, to spend the money, or to make things or create things, but yeah. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And I've also shifted. I think I've shifted my language more towards telling people how I feel about them and showing them through my actions.
Yeah. Which one's that? Is that affirmations?
Yeah, basically.
Affirmations.
Like, so like I did that with you the other day when we were talking on the thing. Like, like, I know it wasn't face to face, but I kind of just said, and I do it all the time. You've probably noticed.
do it a lot lately. Yeah.
Lately, and maybe it's a time of year. Maybe I'm lonely. Who knows? But like, that's the way
I think you're just getting in touch with your feminine side.
Could be as well. I've always been quite effeminate in like most
emotionally.
Yeah, like I cry during movies.
Yeah, so do I.
Cry at Home Alone.
I don't do that. No, I always do that. Do you have like? Do you think toxic masculinity, that term, is a real thing?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Like, I think guys can be dicks, and don't get me wrong. Like,
I'm thinking about it as in another way though, not necessarily like in a way internally.
You tell me what you think then.
So, my one that I came to the other day was with such a prevalence these days in mental health issues in men.
Yeah.
In particular, I think where that issue with toxic masculinity comes in is the idea in a large majority of the male population's head is that they're being weak or not manly if they have mental health issues, if they have anxiety, they feel depressed, if you go to the extreme end, suicidal thoughts about that sort of thing. And because not only is that thought process adding to the issue, because they now feel like they're less of a man, which is adding to the anxiety or the depression, but they also feel like they are not in a position where they should be able to go and seek help about it as well. And that's a discussion I had with a good friend the other day, was, should you treat mental health as a male in the same way that you would treat any sort of issue with your body physically, where as a man I go, hey, I've got a shoulder niggle, it's given me some grief, I should probably go get a scan on that and get it checked out straight away. Should it be the same way you go, for the last week I've had this pit of anxiety in my stomach?
Yeah.
Do you go toughen up, or do you go, hang on, that's an issue, let's deal with that straight away, go see someone, talk to someone about it? And that's where, like, for me, that's the biggest part of like that toxic masculinity, is that people feel like toughen up rather than, hey, maybe that's actually an issue, let's go and discuss that and try and fix that before it becomes a big issue. In the same way that you go, hey, I've got a bit of a shoulder niggle, let's fix that up before it becomes a tendon rupture.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I'm before you say anything more,
Yep.
first I want to say I'm so glad that you used the example that you did.
Yeah.
Because it proves my point that I'm going to make.
Yep.
And my point is this. Everything you said is correct. Except what men do with their mental health is the exact same thing that they do with their physical health. When did you get your scan done?
Yeah, I haven't.
You haven't. And it's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Is that we internalize our problems and we just hold them close and stew on them until we start letting out the fumes of anger, resentment, whatever, in whatever form they are. So whether that be like, hey Taylor, you didn't close the car door properly, now the battery is dead in the car. What the fuck? Like, losing your shit over something that's, innocuous. You have a battery pack in the back of your ute, like, just fix it. Like, I mean, that's not something that you've done, but it's a good example. It's an example of something that is a 5-minute delay that shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah.
And I'm just as culpable with that. Like, I would lose my shit at Kush for like the dumbest things. And I think, like, when you're that angry, it's hard to see through what it is, but it's
significant and insignificant.
Yeah, but it's easier than dealing with your own shit. Like, it's easier to be angry.
Yeah.
Rather than dealing with what's going on in your body.
Do you believe that? Because I know that you have, from our podcast when we spoke about the Joker outside, that you obviously have some opinions on the state of the mental health industry.
Yeah.
Do you believe that it is still a helpful thing for men to go and see someone about that sort of thing and have something to talk about?
100%.
Or do you think it needs to be a self-help thing?
No, 100%. If you need help, you need help. You might not know you need help.
Yeah.
You might know you need help.
Yep.
And that's the confusing part. With a shoulder injury, like, it's kind of a lot easier for you to diagnose, in the sense that you're like, ow, it hurts when I do this.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Ow, it hurts when I do this. It's been 2 weeks. I should go see someone.
Yeah.
When it's mental health, ouch, it hurts when I do everything.
Yeah.
What do? Do I just stay in bed?
Yeah.
I guess so. 2 weeks later, this is kind of alright. Like, I'm getting through. I just need to, like, keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to take that next step and say, hey, like, I actually need help.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, that's the way I see it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Like, I've never had to struggle with mental illness, so, that I know of. So, like, I'm speaking definitely out of turn, right?
Yeah.
I'm not a professional. I know nothing about the stuff. All I can say is that I feel for the men, especially. I mean, women as well. But I feel for men that can't get help. But, like, stuff like this, having close friends that you can talk to,
confide in about things,
is a start.
Yeah.
It's not the end, but it's nice. Are we running out of time already? Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. I'm just thinking that if we continue on a good roll, I'll actually pause this
and we'll go again.
Keep going.
But yeah, like, I think, are you gonna have another one? Or?
No, I'm not gonna have another one. Are you done yours?
No. I'm just enjoying it, man. This is really good.
I really enjoyed this, so thank you, Steve and Suzanne, for that. I really, really enjoyed this one, actually. The Pilsner. It was good. Anyway, I feel like we're on a good topic, so we shouldn't.
Yeah, shouldn't deviate. So that's my thought. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I have exactly the same opinion as you. Is that it is not only from an embarrassment sense where men feel like they can't go and talk to someone. We also have the idea, exactly like you did, and that they don't need to go and see someone because they're dealing with it.
Yeah.
It's very, and also men have an ability, some men, I should say, and some women as well, have an ability to internalize something enough that they don't feel like it's an issue anymore. until, like you said, it becomes a big issue. So that's why you see a lot of the time, and I won't say that this is my idea. I won't say whose idea it is, but I'll just say that this wasn't an idea that I came up with myself. This was a discussion that I had with a friend the other day, and that's where this conversation has come from. Is that especially with, if you look at the police or something, for example, a lot of the time where their PTSD and stress-related issues come from is not a singular event. It is 10 years of small events that they thought they were internalizing and dealing with just fine.
Yeah.
That then bubble over at that 10-year mark, or 11 years, 8 years, 5 years, 3 years for some people, whatever it is, where they thought they had it all under control because they thought they were a mental rock. And then they realize all of a sudden, oh shit, I'm not. And oh shit, this is now too tough to deal with. That's why a lot of industries should, and only some do, have mandatory meetings and that sort of thing where someone should be required to see a counsellor. I think a police officer, for example, should be required to see a counsellor every 6 months,
Yeah.
at least, because there's that much of a prevalence of PTSD in the police, or at least mental health issues later on in life, whether it be stress or anxiety or depression, post-traumatic stress, whatever it is, that maybe, I don't know, but maybe could have been dealt with if they were able to get that stuff off their chest earlier, or at least forced to. I mean, psychologists and what's the other one? Psychiatrists are, despite what maybe some people think about the mental health industry, are well trained. And even if you think that you're going to go in and not talk to someone, eventually if you have to see someone every 6 months for an hour chat, you're going to they're good at their job. They're going to build a rapport with you.
Yeah.
And at some point, they're going to make a breakthrough and you're going to get something off your chest. Maybe it's not even work related, maybe it's relationship related, but it's still, hopefully, if they can help you work through whatever you're getting off your chest, hopefully it is just something that's being poured out of the glass. I feel like something's being emptied out of the glass. I feel like with mental health and things like that, it's just a carryover effect where you've got so much you can bottle up, and then eventually you can't bottle up anymore because it's full.
Yeah.
And going and talking to someone and relieving that issue helps you reduce the amount that you've bottled up, and then you can get rid of it.
Yes.
Right? And something that, actually, I'll lead this into another question so you have a chance to talk, but
I'm happy.
No, it's okay. This is actually a good question because I have an opinion on this as
Okay.
well, from the same conversation. Do you think that in today's day and age, with the prevalence of men's mental health especially, do you think that it always existed 50 years ago?
Yeah.
Do you think it always existed and there just wasn't as much access to it? Do you think that there is a higher prevalence of it now, and we have an ability to see that there's a higher prevalence of it? And do you think that men are just getting softer, or do you think that there is something relating to the reason why there is a higher prevalence of it now?
Okay. I will answer your question.
Yep.
Which was like 4 questions in one.
Yes, it was, yeah.
Okay.
The problem is I know my answer and I see how it carries on together,
Yes,
whereas
yeah.
you don't actually see it.
I see that. The first thing I'd like to just add is you mentioned like the rock scenario. Rocks are weathered. Like,
Yeah.
no matter how tough you think you are, things affect you.
Yeah.
And that's okay. The other thing is you use the example of your cup getting filled.
Yeah.
And some people say, you know what, I can take it. My cup's huge, massive. That's
Yeah.
okay. Like, I think it's important to understand that when things affect you, that's not weakness. It's just that it affects you.
Yeah.
Everyone has strengths and weaknesses. If we took this into the realm of CrossFit, which a lot of our listeners are, we know that there's 7 modalities of fitness.
Yeah.
You might be an excellent weightlifter. You might be heap strong. But with that added bulk, with that added size,
Yeah.
what usually goes to the wayside?
Yeah.
Potentially cardio, potentially gymnastics.
Yeah.
Right? Now, are you weak because you're shitty at gymnastics? Not really. you're just really strong at something, and you have some sort of, yes, there are people that are more balanced in the middle,
Yeah.
but like everyone's on different ends of the spectrum, and it's the same thing with your mental health. There are certain things that affect me a lot more that don't affect you, right?
Yeah.
So for me, my love language is affirmation. If someone doesn't give me affirmation, or if someone negatively like says something to me, like the worst thing you could do to me is criticize me without giving me a way forward. You know, like, hey, that was a good lift, but let's try this. Or hey, you did this thing right, which is good, but this thing wasn't so good.
Yeah.
I feel like, hey, you're really shit at this, maybe you should try something else. That's me shut down.
Yeah.
It's probably why I don't play ball sports. It's probably happened to me when I was younger, right? Like yesterday, me and Shani were playing, like we were standing on the indoor board, like catching and throwing balls to work on his like hand-eye, and then I went, and he's like, hey, you're not that bad at this. I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I just don't practice.
Yeah.
But like in my head, I'm like, I'm terrible at this. I do not want to get in front of a ball because I won't be able to catch it. So stuff like that really affects me. Negative reviews really affect me. So please, guys, don't do that to me.
Yeah.
Like losing customers, clients, that like I'll stress over that. If someone doesn't give me a reason for why they're leaving the gym or like my other business, like I could be up for days just like stressing, like having huge anxiety. My heart will beat fast. I can't get through that. And I'm not saying that that's like a mental health issue, but it's an issue that I'm dealing with. That's my struggle.
Yeah.
And you might have your own.
Yeah.
Like you've talked about it. You talked about it in another podcast.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to lay that out before we went on to your questions.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you remember what your questions were?
Yeah. So my questions are, with the increasing prevalence of mental health issues in men, do you think that it's just the fact we have more access to the information that we now see that there is such an issue?
Yeah.
Or do you think men are getting softer and there is now that issue more so than there used to be? Like, do you think that 20% of men suffered from mental health before and now it's still 20%, but we just, because of media and social media and the news and that sort of thing, we are aware of it?
Yeah.
Or do you think it actually, what it seems like is it used to be a very small percentage and now it's a very large percentage? And do you think that's because men are getting softer, or do you think there's other reasons for it?
I have some ideas.
Yeah.
None of this is
Educated?
Okay.
I have some strong opinions of that.
Okay.
But mine were formed 7 days ago.
Okay.
My opinions.
My first one is I think society at large is soft now.
Okay.
And I think a lot of that has to do with how connected we are. So we're very connected now in the sense of having social media, Instagram, whatever, but that's made us fragile individually and fragile in groups. As you, like, you know, you and me have, like, let's say a pretty tight bond as mates.
Yep.
But now I have thousands of mates, but I'm not actually as close to them because I'm only talking to them and, you know, conversing with them over social media.
Yeah.
So that bond isn't as tight anymore. I think in the past, men potentially, even women, have been able to sort through their issues in their little tribes of men that hang out, that do things. And I think that's actually what made CrossFit so popular. It was a place that people could suffer together and grow through that suffering. Whereas, you know, like we need that now, and it's something that was just inherent because suffering was just a part of life in the past. We live such cushy lives now, so I do think people are softer now, not just men.
Okay. Yeah.
I think. And then, what was your second question? Did that answer the first question?
That answers everything, really.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I did have something else to say, but you talk first, and then I'll.
So the opinion again, I now, after being given this opinion from someone else, I now think to myself, okay, that's, in my head, I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. And I believe it wholeheartedly. But the example or the discussion that I had the other day is not necessarily, yes, I think there's more of a prevalence now that more men in particular, or people, an example, because I really think that now we're seeing, whether if it's, and this is a completely different discussion, but whether if it's an overdiagnosis or an actual increase in the issue, we definitely have a much higher percentage of people who are suffering from anxiety or depression than we did 50 years ago as a society on a whole, at least from a diagnosis point of view. Now, I think we do have a higher prevalence, a higher percentage of men suffering from mental health issues, but I don't necessarily think that it is because we are getting softer. The opinion that was given to me that I really think is a great one is, if we use the cup example,
Yep.
is 50 years ago, without as much access to the news, without social media everywhere, people's cups were generally filled fairly small. And the way that I guess the best way to describe this is, even though you maybe don't recognize that something has affected you at all, some things, even though you don't go, oh, that, like, oh, wow, that's really not okay, it is maybe still adding liquid to the cup. So the best way that I can describe it is, you're scrolling through Instagram, you're scrolling through Facebook, whatever you're scrolling through, you're watching the news, and you see people being beheaded in a third world country because of a dictatorship somewhere. Whilst you didn't see the beheading or whatever on the news, or maybe you did because it was a brief Facebook video, like I've seen those videos on Facebook, and even though you do go, ooh.
And yet you can't see boobies.
Yeah, yet you can't see boobs. I know. That maybe would help me pour some of the cup out.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's beside the point. Maybe the fact that you see that, and yes, you initially go, oh, holy shit, 5 minutes later you've stopped thinking about it. It's off your mind. It's not something that scars into your brain and affects you, but maybe the fact that you see something like that, even on a smaller scale, that someone's angry about something on some clickbaity article that someone's posted, that makes you go, wait, what the fuck? And then you go, oh, okay, never mind. And you forget about it a minute later, but maybe it's adding liquid to your cup, right? So now all the big things in life that affect you, like people having family members die 50 years ago, losing their job, those major events were the only things that filled their cup. Whereas now we have a million tiny things, because we spend 2 hours a day on our Instagram. Every second post is something that adds to that cup. Maybe now that when we do have those bigger issues, the cup's already so full that we don't have the capacity to deal with those bigger issues anymore. So even though we don't see those smaller things as being the issue, we only see the big things. Maybe because of all those small things, that has now reduced our ability to deal with the big things. And that's why we see such an overflow effect in the end. So that's my opinion on it. I don't think people are getting softer. I think even though it seems insignificant, we just have such a larger proportion of issues to deal with.
Yeah.
Even though we don't realize it, because until someone breaks it down like I just did then, you don't really think about it, right? And I had never thought about it that way until someone said to me, like, if I was struggling to deal with a stressful situation in the last 6 weeks or whatever, I think to myself, it's not really that stressful of a situation, what are you doing? But maybe the cup is just already that full, that it's not that, it's everything else that's adding to that. Because it's the sum of, right? It's not the weighting of a singular event, it's the sum of everything.
That's it.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I thought that was a really clever idea when he said
better way of explaining what I was trying, like what I kind of had thought out.
So this is one of those few times where I actually had a synthesized argument.
I like it.
Before, and you did not, so I'm happy about that.
No, that's good. Have you read the book Tribe?
No,
By
I
Sebastian
don't do
Junger?
enough reading.
It's a cool book because it talks about tribes, obviously, and the importance of having a group around you to support you. You live for the group lives for you, blah, blah, blah. You're a better person. The society at large is better. When a lot of tribal cultures send their men off to war, when they come back, they're not just chucked into society. They have to be reintegrated through some sort of process. Right? That process could be some sort of trials, talking through the issues. A lot of the times they may have used psychedelics to make them not the person they were when they left. Because you can't be. The person that's at war cannot be the person that lives happily in society. They're too far on opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Like you would say that, right?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And this lends to what you were talking about before with the police and getting counseling, is they need a way to reintegrate themselves back in society. And I know they've never actually left society, but their job certainly puts them in a different part of it. Right?
Can you pause the thought for 10 seconds?
Of course.
And we're back. So you were just saying that you think even though police officers weren't necessarily ever left society,
that they are still somewhat removed when they're in their job, right?
Yeah.
Especially the things they see, the things they have to do in terms of deal, like they need support, and a lot of the times, like you said, they might not get it.
Yeah.
But having a group around you that is close, could just be your other policemen around you, but it could also be something more, like somewhere you go, like a men's group. And you're actually seeing some of these things rise up. Like there are a bunch of men's only groups now where people can meet up, go through trials of manhood, and go through steps to, become a man. And I think those things are somewhat talked about in this book, and I think you'd really like it.
Is it on Audible?
Yeah, it is on Audible. I listened to it on Audible. I didn't
Maybe
read
we'll
it.
get into that. Do you find listening to things on Audible gets, like, are people monotone and stuff?
Depends who reads them.
Okay.
You're sometimes lucky
Yeah.
to get like good actors, but other times, if you have shitty actors reading it, you're like,
It's hard to listen to.
it is. Like, I'm going to sleep.
Yeah, okay. Interesting. So you think, I guess going back to the original question, do you think health in general is a very holistic approach, and people who are feeling those sort of issues should just, I guess, go and see someone straight away rather than allowing it to become a build-up? Or do you think there are a lot of things that you just kind of need to suffer through on your own and deal with it, self-help wise?
You never have to suffer on your own. There is always someone that you can turn to. You are never alone, and I think that's important to say. Even if it's that friend that you were really close to 5 years ago, and then for some reason you fell off the map, if you reach out and ask for help, reach out to like three of them, and someone's gonna say, hey, like, yeah, actually I'll sit down and have a beer with you, I'll have a chat with you. So like, you're never alone.
Yeah.
No matter how much shit that you've done that you might perceive as bad, just own it. And like, someone will come to the phone, someone will pick up their phone. And if you don't have anyone, then there are also professional services. Which are just as good.
Do you think there's with your opinions, do you think there's a benefit to professional services?
100%. Yeah. You mean my opinions on the mental health?
Industry itself?
Yeah, so my opinions aren't on the professionals. I just think that the progress that has been made in the medical field is not reflected in the mental health field. But they are, because now they're experimenting with newer forms of treatment.
I feel like this podcast has gone a long way away from what it started at.
Buying gifts?
Buying gifts.
I didn't even hear your thoughts on buying gifts. Will you tell me?
Mm.
Oh no.
Yeah. Buying gifts. Jeez, this is a jump back from what we were just talking about.
I was really serious. This is meant to be like our New Year's podcast.
Yeah.
New year, new me.
Well, there you go. Maybe it does tie in pretty well. Maybe some people feel that they don't have a new me. Actually, that's a good question because the gifts one is. I think gifts are, yeah. I think gifts are good, but I think a lot of people put more weighting on it.
Yeah.
Than what needs to be. And
well, my question then is this.
I hate when people who probably didn't need to get you a gift get you a gift. Because they make you... Like, I like that you gave me a gift, but the reason why I like that you gave me a gift is because I know you well enough to know that when you say there is a reason I got it for you and don't feel obliged to return the favour,
yeah,
I know you actually mean it.
I do mean it.
And you're not thinking in your head like...
Fuck you,
I can't believe this fucker. I can't believe this fucker didn't get me a gift.
But you did.
Yeah, but that doesn't really count, right? Because we're going to do this anyway. But there's a lot of people where, and it's a pet hate of mine, is when someone gives you a gift that really had not much right giving you a gift.
Yeah.
Because your relationship with them does not require gift giving at all. Even from a social setting, it doesn't require gift giving. Because then most of the time, me being a boy, haven't thought about that and didn't get them a gift. And then you look like the arsehole for not getting them a gift.
Yeah.
And whether if you look like the arsehole in their eyes or not, you definitely look like an arsehole around everyone that they decided to give you the gift in front of.
Yes.
Because you're like, oh, thank you, but I didn't get you anything.
I kind of think
I have a very particular example that I'll tell you about off the podcast, but I won't tell you about it right now.
I think gifts should be private.
You think you shouldn't give it in front of everyone?
Yeah.
What about family Christmas morning?
Yeah, fuck it. Like, I mean, like, yeah, they'll know you gave them a gift. I think that's a bit different. Family's like pretty tight, but like I think like I'm not a fan of opening my gifts in front of everyone. Like I'd like to go spend the time, open them, and then be like, this is a waste, like in my private.
Yeah, because you don't like gifts.
No, I like gifts. Guys buy me gifts.
Okay, yeah. What's your worst gift you've ever been given?
The worst gift I've ever been given? Can we come back to this?
Yep.
I have to think. Do you have one?
No, not really. What's the best gift you've ever been given?
The best gift? I don't know. I have to think about that too.
I also don't have one.
Maybe that's definitely not my love language. Maybe I just adopted that from someone else because I feel like I would be able to remember it.
Gifts aren't your love language.
No, they're not. But I'm saying maybe that wasn't even before.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Goodness me.
Getting sleepy.
Do you have a New Year's resolution coming into the new year? Do you have something that you're going to from today?
Yeah.
Being that this is going to come out in the new year, do you have a New Year's resolution that you're going to work towards?
I do. I have a bunch.
Mm.
And I was going to make a video for just like the Raw Barbell page about it.
Mm.
But I guess I can say it here.
This won't come out for a while.
Yeah. But will I make that video as well?
Yeah, that's a good point. We still have one to come out before this, so...
Yes. Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. So my New Year's resolutions are this. I definitely divulge way too much information on podcasts. Mm-hmm. But fuck it.
Is it a New Year's resolution that like is embarrassing to say?
No.
Oh, then
it's
why
just
does it
like
matter?
it's not embarrassing. It's just like personal.
Okay.
Like things that affect business and stuff like that. As well.
Well, don't feel obliged to say it.
I will anyway. So
good, because you would have looked like a dick.
My lease here is up in July.
Yeah.
So I've given myself from now until then to put everything I can. You probably notice if you follow Raw Barbell or the page that I've been chucking out media and content like crazy.
Yeah.
And not like shitty like Instagram posts. Like I'm talking like legit content. Like if you like watching people train and training vlogs with some story, with some like hilarity in it, like these are like they're good videos as well as educational content. We film the podcast now. I've been cutting the podcast down. We even do the Uneducated Opinions one where we cut it down into bite-sized pieces where we take the most interesting pieces out of that conversation and I'll post them up. So like I'm gonna do everything I can between now and then to make raw barbell the best that
It can be.
Mm-hmm. And then at that point, I'm gonna decide what I want to do with it. Whether I want to, re-sign a lease, whether I want to move complexes, whether I'm done with it, I want to close it down, whether I want to sell it, whatever. That's my New Year's resolution. Well, it's not. I made this decision ages ago, but this is something that I'm thinking more about in the New Year's. I'm going to train as hard as I can for the Arnold because I do not want to go there. So I've switched sports. I'm no longer doing Olympic weightlifting. I'm now, most of my training is strongman, and my goal is not to turn up and be
The worst
last
there.
place.
Yep.
I want to turn up. I want to make a run for the podium. I understand that I'm new, that I'm clean, that it might not be
That I'm clean.
might not be feasible.
Are you? Your biceps are looking a lot bigger the last
Thank
couple
you.
of weeks.
I've been training them a lot, actually.
You can tell. You genuinely can tell. Have you put weight on?
Fuck. The affirmation, they just keep coming.
Have you put weight on?
I don't know. I'll weigh myself after. I don't
Okay.
think so.
Yeah.
I think I've lost weight in my legs. I'll put it up.
Yeah. Yeah, you look like you put size on. Definitely. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really funny. So I'll indulge a little bit as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, divulge? Indulge?
Divulge?
Divulge. I'll divulge a little bit as well. I actually genuinely did, after being recommended it by someone.
Yeah.
Again, I won't mention who it was. Just they were telling me about that they'd just done that love languages thing.
Yeah.
And it wasn't so much a recommendation as they told me what it was.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I was curious, so I did it as well. And I'm also affirmations.
Really? So when I talk to you and I give you praise and stuff, it does mean a lot to you. Though.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Ah, that's good to know. See, I feel like we're very similar people in a lot of ways, which is funny for a lot of friends tend to have
such opposites.
such opposites.
Yeah. I didn't think that would be mine though, to be honest.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think that when I answer questions like that,
You answer what you think that they want you to answer.
yeah, a little bit, yeah. I feel like I don't put enough thought into the question itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, at that point, that's what it was. But I was very, very close with 3. None of them were standouts.
Yeah, okay.
3 of them were all pretty close. But gifts and acts of service.
Yeah.
Acts of service were way down the bottom for me. Well to the bottom.
Really?
Yeah, well to the bottom. Acts of service and gifts were well to the bottom. Gifts really don't. I can take it or leave it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, then fucking leave the present.
Yeah. If someone. No, I appreciate it, but to me.
I'm just
No. But what I'm saying is. But that's different as well because that's also an affirmation, right? The fact that someone felt the need to get you a gift, even though there was definitely no obligation there.
Yeah.
Is an affirmation as well. But yeah, I was curious. I thought mine would have been there's one's physical touch and stuff, and that was up there with mine. I understand that it's not what you were about to say. That's not the point of it. But to me, especially with my partner, with Taylor, that's a big one for me. Is just being close.
Yes.
Is not necessarily It doesn't have to be a sexual thing, but
No. I know what it means.
Yeah. But just being close with someone is important to me as well.
I'm laughing because I definitely
Your brain
am the
definitely-
same way.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But guess who's not like that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I never would have guessed that one.
Guess who doesn't like to be touched? My partner. She's like, why do you always want to hug me? Get away from me.
Cushies. What's cushies?
It'd just be acts of service.
Okay. Yeah.
It'd be.
That's such a shit one.
Yeah. No. It's good because it means that you come home after a long day or something. Hey, I made you dinner.
Yeah.
Or hey, I did all of this stuff in the house. I did the laundry for you.
Can you see how closely all of the? I feel like
they're all very close together.
They're all very close together, and I feel like, especially with affirmations, for example, almost every single other one of them interplays very well with
So
affirmations.
there are 5 love languages, right?
Yeah, so there's acts of service, sending and receiving gifts, physical touch, affirmations, and quality time.
And Kush will not like quality time.
She hates spending time with you. Yeah. And that's a good question for you, because I actually, as I said, I literally jumped on and did the thing and didn't actually read any of the stuff. I'm going to 100% cop so much flack for this when people listen to this.
Why?
Just talking about this, it's a little bit wanky.
Why is it wanky?
I don't know, it feels wanky. Does it not feel wanky to you to talk about?
No.
No?
Most things
That's
you talk about feel wanky.
Yeah. That's that toxic masculinity again.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, men should not be talking about this conversation. Should not be having this conversation.
Well, as if, look, if you're a dude, and you're not, okay, not if you're a dude. If you're a person and you're interested in performance, data is key, right?
Yeah.
If you can have data on yourself, data on your partner, isn't that only going to help you be better?
Everything else.
Better and everything else.
So
that's the way I look at these things. So I go, all right, we'll look at the love languages. Kush does like quality time. She does like acts of service. That's what she appreciates. And yet, whenever she calls me on WhatsApp, because I don't like talking on the phone, I'm like, hey, I gotta go. Hang on. Or like, something like that. So what's that doing to her about our relationship?
Yeah.
That's not me, performing at my best for her, which is someone that I potentially want to spend the rest of my life with.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the way I look at things. So yes, I might have to, to actually spend more time doing that. And I'm only coming to this conclusion because we're talking about it now.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
not
that's
wanky.
fair enough. Well, that's actually how... This sounds stupid, but like the thing that sparked a lot of like mental health discussion in my last couple of conversations with people is like...
So you seem like you've been talking about this a lot.
I've been talking about it with a mate a lot.
Okay.
With one friend.
Who's struggling potentially? No.
No. So I've just been talking about like some of my own issues and that sort of thing, which I won't divulge in right now. But
we'll save it for another podcast.
Yeah, we'll save it for like 20, 30 podcasts time. But I was just like, and the reason that whole holistic outlook on life, on performance, is a big thing that I thought about it, is because if I have something that I'm dealing with that is affecting the way I eat or the way that I sleep, I'm not saying it does, but like maybe in particular moods that it does, like just stress with uni and work and relationships and all that sort of thing, maybe those stresses are causing a slightly less performance in my sleep, slightly less ability to eat as much or as well as what I should be doing. Is that then having a carryover effect on everything that I do in life, like training, like work, and that sort of thing? So if I am the type of person that bottles up everything that I'm dealing with from a performance setting, being someone that really wants to knuckle down and do well from an athletic point of view and a career point of view, am I putting myself at a disadvantage by maybe not dealing with something that may seem insignificant, but is obviously having some sort of an effect on my mental well-being?
Yeah.
Is that having an effect on everything else? So I've really changed tune in the way that since my recent conversations and this conversation with you, in how I look at that sort of thing, and that performance, whether it be workplace or sporting, needs to be holistically looked at from every other point of view. So sleep and eating and training are 3 huge things, but maybe something that's often forgotten, and definitely has been forgotten or not realized by me until recently, is that mental stress or mental health or anxiety or whatever it is, whatever a particular person is dealing with, is something that affects those 3 things. So even though we look at it as those 3 things, that's being affected by something else as well. So I think performance itself needs to be a holistic outlook, and that's only a conclusion that I've come to in like the last... I think maybe it's some advice that I would have always given to someone else, but it's never advice that I would have given to myself until maybe recent time.
Yeah.
I can't remember how we got to that, but I went on a bit of a tangent.
I agree. I agree 100%. I think everything outside affects everything inside, and everything inside affects everything outside.
Yeah.
It can be something as simple as like, you're lactose intolerant and you eat a little bit of ice cream and your entire mood for the day, your training, everything's gone off. Like, it's a cascading flow. It's like the cup, you keep filling it up.
Yeah.
That ice cream takes up a little bit extra space because it causes that little bit extra gas. So you got a little bit more froth, and then it overflows.
Good example. It's just like a beer.
Just like a beer.
Anyway, I think that's probably a good spot to wrap up. Just like a beer.
So. Just like a beer. Who are we brought to by today?
Fuck.
As if you haven't been thinking of one for us.
I haven't been thinking of one at all. Who are we brought to by today? Oh, I can't make that joke. I don't know. Who are we brought to by today? Do you have one?
Yep.
I thought you might.
Hey guys, today we're brought to you by whiteboards. They're just like blackboards, but better because they're white. As Steve would say. Do you have anything to say about whiteboards? And why they're better than blackboards?
Yes, because the black shows up better.
On the white.
On the white.
Well played, sir. Well played. I appreciate that. I think we'll leave it there. Hey, okay. You guys, you can find me, Andy, at Train with Andy on Instagram. You can find Steve at
Steve Norman 250. I'm so scared to point now because you fucked with me the last couple of weeks, so now I can't do it.
Hey guys, you can find us at Uneducated Opinions on Instagram, at the Uneducated Opinions podcast on everywhere else if you look for us.
Yeah.
Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. Give us a 5-star rating on iTunes. Click that notification bell so you see when the next episode is up. And guys, I hope you had a Happy New Year and a Merry Christmas, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.